I never used to pay attention to the light in my hallway, which is strange now that I think about it, because it's the one thing that ended up sticking with me the most. It was one of those ceiling fixtures that buzzes softly when it's been on too long. Nothing special. The kind of sound you stop noticing after a while, like a refrigerator hum or distant traffic. That night, though, I remember standing barefoot on the carpet and realizing the buzzing had stopped. The light was still on, just quiet. I stood there longer than I should have, waiting for the sound to come back, like it might restart if I acknowledged it. Didn't, and I remember thinking very casually that it must have finally burned out in some specific way. Not off, just different. Anyway, that's not where this really starts. That's just where my mind keeps going back. At the time, I was living alone in a narrow apartment that had clearly been divided up more times than anyone cared to admit. The walls didn't quite meet the ceiling in some places, and if you stood in the kitchen long enough, you could hear water moving through pipes that weren't connected to anything you owned. I liked it, though. Felt anonymous, temporary, like I could leave without the place noticing. Most evenings were the same. I'd come home, kick my shoes off by the door, forget to pick them up later, and heat up something that came in plastic. I didn't have a TV for a while, so I just sit on the couch with my phone face down on my chest, staring at the ceiling fan spin shadows. It helped me slow down. That night wasn't different at first. I remember unlocking the door and noticing the smell. Not bad, just warmer than usual, like someone had been there earlier in the day and left recently, even though I knew that wasn't possible. I told myself it was the building. Old buildings smell like memories you didn't ask for. I locked the door. I always locked it twice. The hallway light was already on, which I don't remember turning on. But I do that sometimes. Muscle memory. No reason to make it a thing. I dropped my bag, went to the kitchen, and poured a glass of water. That's when I noticed the chair at the table wasn't pushed in all the way, just slightly out, maybe an inch, enough to catch your eye, but not enough to trip over. I stood there holding the glass, listening. Nothing. I pushed the chair back in with my foot and laughed a little at myself, because I was tired and my brain was clearly reaching. That's what brains do when they're bored. They invent patterns. Later, when I was lying on the couch, that's when I heard it. Not a sound exactly, more like the absence of one. The hallway again. That light. The buzzing still hadn't come back. I remember thinking I should replace the bulb. I remember thinking I'd do it tomorrow. I fell asleep without meaning to. I woke up to the feeling that someone had been standing very close to me. Not touching, just near enough that the air felt different. You know that feeling when someone's about to speak your name? I opened my eyes. The room was empty, dark except for the hallway light bleeding in under the doorframe. Still on, still quiet. I checked my phone. A little past 3 a.m. No notifications, no missed calls, nothing that explained why my chest felt tight. I went to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, avoided my reflection longer than usual. When I came back out, I noticed the chair again. Pulled out, the same inch. I didn't move it this time. I don't know why. It felt important to leave it how it was, like moving it would be admitting something I wasn't ready to say out loud. Instead, I sat on the couch and watched the hallway. That's when the light flickered. Just once. Not dramatic, more like a blink. And for a second, I could swear the buzzing came back, louder than before, like it was trying to catch up for lost time. Then silence again. I slept badly after that. Not nightmares, just shallow, broken rest. Over the next few days, little things kept happening. The bathroom mirror fogged up after I showered, but there were streaks in it that weren't mine. The door to my bedroom was closed when I knew I'd left it open. Once, I found my phone charging on the kitchen counter when I distinctly remembered plugging it in by the couch. Each time, I told myself the same thing. I'm tired. I'm distracted. I'm filling in gaps with stories because that's easier than accepting how forgetful I've become. But the light never buzzed again. One evening, I came home earlier than usual. The hallway light was off, properly off. No glow, no silence, just dark. I stood there longer than necessary, hands still on the door handle, feeling oddly disappointed. I turned it on. It buzzed, like nothing had ever been wrong. That night, I sat at the table instead of the couch. The chair was pushed in. All of them were. I stayed there for a long time, not doing anything in particular, just listening to the building settle around me. Pipes, distant footsteps, someone laughing somewhere below. At some point, I realized the buzzing had stopped again. I didn't look up. I moved out a month later. No big reason, just felt like it was time. The new place is quieter, newer. The lights work exactly how they're supposed to. Still, sometimes when I leave a room, I'll glance back to make sure nothing's changed behind me. That chairs are where I left them. That lights sound the way they should. I don't know if anything actually happened in that apartment. I don't know if it was stress or loneliness or my brain trying to make meaning out of random details. But every now and then, I'll catch myself listening for a sound I didn't know I'd miss. If you've ever had a place feel like it was paying attention to you, even just once, you probably know what I mean. And I guess I'm curious what you'd have done differently, or if you would have noticed the light at all.